much. And out front now, Jonathan Tassini travels on behalf of the Bernie Sanders campaign. He's a surrogate for the senator. And David Brock, founder of Correct the Record, which is a pro-Hillary Clinton super PAC. David, let me start with you because you just heard in Jeff's piece. It's the same kind of voters who gave then-Senator Obama his first win in Iowa, that win that turned an entire election. That group now backing Bernie Sanders. I'm talking about people who are caucusing for the first time, people who categorize themselves as independent, and people who are young, under the age of 45. Is this 2008 all over again?
No, look, I don't think anybody thinks that Senator Sanders is Barack Obama. And let me tell you something. The reality is it's Senator Sanders who has said he's going to win Iowa and New Hampshire. And the polls today and in the last few days show Hillary is still slightly ahead in Iowa. New Hampshire's close, but that's why the Sanders campaign is feeling pressed. That's why they're running a negative campaign. They switched strategies totally today after Senator Sanders promised not to run negative ad. They went up with a negative ad. Of course, they were the first to go negative back in the fall when Senator Sanders attacked Hillary at the JJ dinner when his staff stole millions of dollars worth of data from the Clinton campaign and misled the press about it. And then Senator Sanders went out with the outrageous, baseless innuendo that the Clinton people had done it too. So he's feeling pressed, and here's why. The gun issue. On the gun issue, hold on. On the gun issue, he is really out of touch, not only with Democratic primary voters, but he's on the wrong side of it. What 82% of millennials want on guns. Hold on. Can I just finish?
I think you see the panic flowing out of his pores.
If I can just finish. Because one of the biggest priorities of the NRA was this issue of immunity for gun manufacturers that he supported. He supported the Charleston loophole that got that shooter, enabled that shooter to get that gun before his background check. And
so, Erin, let's talk about some facts.
He's got this half-baked,
So I will say right now, we will win Iowa and New Hampshire, and I will not be surprised when that happens. I predicted that months ago, and it's really a fact that this is a political revolution, and it's a political revolution versus the status quo. I think that's why millions of people, young people, I met some Republicans just now in Florida who said they're former Republicans who are going to vote for Bernie in the Florida primary. In Iowa and New Hampshire, people are saying we don't want to support candidates of the status quo. We don't want to support candidates who voted for immoral wars like the Iraq War. That was what Hillary Clinton did. We don't want people who are close to the drug and insurance companies, who are close to Wall Street. We want a fundamentally different political economy, and they're surging to Bernie. I had no doubt that Bernie could win these two. The only question I had was raising money, and we've proven over the last several months that we can raise money. And I want to compliment the Clinton campaign. Let me just be very clear. I hope they continue to engage in these false attacks around health care.
Oh, no, we're not
every single time
attacks.
we do,
we are not
every single time
attacks.
we do, we raise money. In the last 48 hours, the campaign has raised $1.4 billion because people see that these are false attacks.
Okay,
and so I want to compliment, I really want to thank the Clinton campaign for helping fund our campaign.
Okay, Jonathan, go ahead, David.
Well, let's talk about this. Why doesn't Senator Sanders keep his promises, and why doesn't he tell the truth about his record?
So let's talk about health care. Let's talk about
you want to interrupt me again?
Let's talk about health care.
Supporting the Charleston. Could I finish?
Let's talk about health care.
Hold on. Both of these stop for 1 second because I do actually want to go to healthcare, David. I think you're going to guns, but I want to go to healthcare because Jeff Zeleny brought that up.
I think
and you just heard Bernie Sanders, who told Jeff Zeleny earlier tonight, Jonathan, that he's going to give more detail. The campaign that earlier indicated that he wasn't going to give more detail. This is a plan that some people say could cost $15 trillion. Now, the words he used to Jeff Zeleny is that he's going to give an outline of the numbers. Doesn't he need to do more than that? I mean, give real numbers about what the cost is going to be here, or is he avoiding the issue?
No, not at all. So we already spend $3 trillion a year in health care. Bernie Sanders' campaign does not cost more money. He wants to reallocate the money. And actually what happens, just like in Australia and other
industries... So you say $15 trillion is a bunch of bull?
Well, I'm saying it's $15 trillion over the course of a number of years, but it doesn't cost more money. What he's doing is he's killing the insurance companies. His plan would save the average person making $50,000 a year. It would save them about $5,000 a year. And yes, in their paycheck, just like they pay Social Security, they would see a little number, which would be about 2.3% of their income, just as they do in Australia, where they have essentially Medicare for all. But at the bottom line, when you go to your bank account, every single person would save, if you're making $50,000 a year, $5,000. The Clinton plan, because as she
Okay,
had done,
I hit pause there for one moment because I want to give David a chance here to respond.
Well, look, I'm glad we're starting to get some details, but
those details have been out there, David.
Senator Sanders was asked if he wanted to dismantle Obamacare. He said no, that wasn't true. He said he didn't support the exception, the Charleston loophole, when he did. He got Pinocchios from non-biased fact checkers, so he needs to start telling people the truth about his record. And the thing about these polls is a quarter of the people in these polls don't know who Senator Sanders is.
Well, actually, the opposite has happened.
As we start
if you look
to
at
have scrutiny, he has had no scrutiny.
So
he hasn't been vetted.
Here are the two,
and as that
here are the two falsehoods.
Go down.
Aaron, here are the two falsehoods. Here are two falsehoods. First of all, the more people learn about Bernie Sanders, the more they're flowing to him, and that's why he's going to win Iowa, New Hampshire.
We're finding out that he's not
on the health care question, he's been very clear that his plan would save Americans money. Hillary Clinton's plan would cost Americans thousands of dollars.
I'm finding an easy moment to end this, so I will hit pause, but I will say we are eagerly awaiting more details on the health care plan. Thank you both very much.
You'll continue to hear this fraudulent stuff in the Clinton campaign. It'll get worse. That's their modus operandi. That's the way they work.
You on to reprise this debate. Thank you very much. Up front next, just weeks before those